Have you ever really thought about it? How one single decision, just one move, can set off this whole chain reaction that completely changes the course of your entire life? Well, today we're going to dive into the story of a first-generation entrepreneur who learned that the biggest journeys really do start with just one single pivotal moment.
And it all really boils down to this idea right here. I mean, the cover of the book itself has this timeless piece of wisdom from Confucius. It's a quote we've all heard a million times, right? But what does that actually look like when the rubber meets the road? Well, this author's life is pretty much a living testament to that very quote.
So that brings up a really important question. We know it's going to be a long, tough journey. So why even start it? Why put yourself through all the struggles and the setbacks? Well, to really get the lessons, we have to first understand why he even wanted to tell this story in the first place. And this really gets to the core of our first topic. The author is super clear that this isn't just another autobiography, the kind that just lists off things that happened. Oh no, there's a much, much deeper reason for all this.
He really wanted to break the mold, so instead of just telling you his life story, his big goal was to create a practical guide. It was a way for him to share all the hard-won knowledge and tough experiences he picked up and pass them on to the next generation of entrepreneurs and dreamers.
And this is where you can see how he frames his entire life. The past isn't just history to him. It's an experience you learn from. The present, well, that's the journey we're on right now. And the future is all about finding new purpose. It's all pointing to one thing, teaching real lessons from a life that was actually lived.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? This wasn't some ego trip. It wasn't about fame or getting his name out there. It came from a place of genuine belief that his experiences had something valuable to say, something that could really help other people rethink and rebuild their own lives.
Okay, so what gives these lessons so much weight? It's the journey itself. To really understand the wisdom, you've got to appreciate the path he walked, and that's exactly what we're going to look at next. Being a first-generation entrepreneur, his journey was, let's just say, anything but easy. The source material spells it out. We're talking about all the classic challenges any top entrepreneur faces, the constant struggles, the setbacks that come out of nowhere, the emotional toll it takes, and of course that wild roller coaster of failure and success.
But here is the key takeaway. He didn't just survive all those challenges, he was literally forged by them. Every failure, every setback, it wasn't a dead end. It was fuel. It's what built his courage and turned him into a stronger and much wiser person.
And it's in that transformation that's where you find the real gold. He calls them lessons from the crucible. And these are not just some abstract ideas. We're talking about practical, real-world strategies for navigating all the crazy challenges life throws at you.
At the very heart of all this is one concept, the correct mindset. Now, he defines this not as something you're born with, but as the attitude you consciously choose to carry with you. It's not about avoiding problems. It's about proactively deciding how you're going to handle the inevitable ups and downs of life and business.
So how do you actually build this mindset? Well, he boils it down to 3 really actionable principles. First, you got to reframe every difficulty as an opportunity. Second, never stop learning. You have to stay innovative and knowledgeable. And the third, and this one is so important, take ownership. You have to be accountable for your own well-being. And when you start to cultivate this kind of mindset, it naturally changes your whole definition of success. It's not just about getting to the destination anymore. It's about the quality of the journey and the kind of life you build for yourself along the way.
This is such a powerful, honest statement. After he achieved all the financial success you could want, he had this huge realization that it wasn't the thing that made him happy. And that one insight is pretty much central to his whole philosophy on what it means to live a truly fulfilled life.
So if it's not just about the money, then what is it? For him, true fulfillment is a whole package deal. It's a blend of things. It's professional success, sure, but it's also the freedom that success gives you, the amazing relationships you build, and, crucially, being able to give back to the community that helped you get there.
And he drives this point home with a quote from the legendary motivational speaker Zig Ziglar. It just perfectly captures this idea of a balanced life. Success isn't something you can just chop up into different parts of your life. It has to be holistic. It's the whole picture.
And that brings us right back to where we started. We've gone through his journey, his mindset, and his definition of real success. But now the focus shifts. It's no longer about his story. It's about yours.
The author leaves us with a pretty stark reminder here. We only get one shot at this thing called life. There are no dress rehearsals, no previews of what's coming next. And that really creates this sense of urgency, A call to action to make the absolute most of the time we've got.
Looking back on it all, he just reflects on the incredible power of that one initial decision. That single choice set everything else in motion, and the thought of what his life might have been without it, well, that's a pretty powerful motivator for anyone who's standing at their own crossroads.
And so we're left with this question. His entire journey started with just one step. Everything we've talked about today, the lessons, the growth, the fulfillment, it all came from that one initial move. So, what about you? What's the first step that's waiting for you to take?